Raising business and babies at the same time can take a toll on any parentpreneurs, but especially Black parentpreneurs. Our guest is building a thriving community, empowering Black parentpreneurs while preparing them for entrepreneurial success so they can leave a legacy for their beautiful Black children. Stay tuned for the Startup Life live show. Let's go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Startup Life Live Show. I'm your host, Ande Lyons, 4 times founder and startup champion to founders around the world. And after raising 4 businesses of my own, I know what you crawl through every single day as you build your startup. And I have the wrinkles to show for it. So I understand what you're going through, and I'm thanking you for carving out time to up your founder game while cheering on a fellow founder. You know you're going to find a gem here that's going to help you feel better or do better with your startup. And if you're joining us live or via replay, be sure to say hello in the comment threads and be sure to share your love on this video wherever you're watching. And if you're tuning in from YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. It would mean the world to me and help me reach more founders. Thank you for that. And if you'd like to receive an alert whenever we post a new show, please join the meetup group. This way you'll learn who I'm having, and I'm sure there's going to be a guest in your category that you can learn from, or someone you'd like to, quote, meet on your founder journey, right? And did you know that you can listen to the Startup Life live show? Yeah, you can grab the podcast and tune in anywhere you go. If you resonate with the Startup Life live show's mission of amplifying diverse founder voices while serving first-time founders around the world, please reach out to me to learn more about how you can make a greater impact on the startup ecosystem through sponsoring the Startup Life live show. So I'm so excited to tell you about our guest today, a favorite of mine who I follow really like glue online, okay? I'm just telling you, he's so phenomenal, especially on TikTok. You will get motivated and inspired. It's the so amazing James Oliver Jr. He's the CEO of the ParentPreneur Foundation, which empowers Black parentpreneurs to succeed at entrepreneurship so they may leave a legacy for their beautiful Black children. As a parent of twins who were born prematurely and weighed only 2 pounds each, 2 days before he started a tech accelerator, James has a deep understanding of the challenges facing Black parentpreneurs. James is also the founder of WeMontage, which turns your photos into repositional wallpaper. Let's give James a hearty welcome. Woohoo! Welcome to the show, James.
Hey, so happy to be here, and thank you so much.
I'm so thrilled to have you. How are you? Where are you hailing from today?
I'm doing great. I am in Atlanta, Georgia. So excited to be here.
Awesome. We need to do a quick shout out to one of our favorite people here, Allison, founder of Scroobius.
I just got the phone with Allison like 2 hours ago. That's so funny.
Stop.
I did.
That is so great. Well, you know, Allison, you know what I have to throw up right now because I love promoting Scroobius. Let me just bring this in right
Scroobius
here.
is great.
Pitch a plan, everybody. Yeah, hop on over there.
So Allison and Scroobius are a partner of my ParentPreneur Foundation. And for the members of our premium membership group, she offers the Pitch It plan for free to those folks. I mean, it's a $400 deal. She's one of those people that puts her money where her mouth is. She's an advocate. She's a supporter. She's a sponsor. She's a friend. She's awesome. Love me some Allison Byers.
I love me some Allison Byers too. And folks, female founders, hop on over, connect with her on LinkedIn, and check out her recent post, okay, about the signal, social capital signal. Difference between female founders and white male founders. I mean, Allison is always putting out thoughtful,
is that the one about
posts.
the mom tax? Is that what the one?
The mom tax, everybody. Oh my gosh. And another favorite, the incredible mouthy activist, brand ambassador, and host of the Shit We Don't Talk About podcast, the one and only Mia Voss. Folks, you know you want to hear what Mia's talking about and bring into the conversation in her podcast. So go follow the Shit We Don't Talk About podcast. Follow Mia everywhere she goes, because these are, this will get you through folding laundry, going on a long trip, And
That podcast name, though, that's hilarious. I mean,
it's
so I mean,
perfect.
just low key, like I'm actually about to drop a podcast. I can't talk about it, but I'll be making a big announcement. We're about to sign a deal with a big podcast network, and yeah, stay tuned for
Yeah.
that.
Well, and parentpreneurs, you know that you're trying to do so much, especially during the pandemic, to make things happen. You know what I saw the other day that just floated my boat, James? A woman, she's going to be on the show in a couple of weeks, Brandy Whalen, and she puts in that experience section of LinkedIn, raising 3 humans, and talks about everything she's been doing. You know, a list that's too long, of course, for doing that. But you know what? We need to honor our each other. Okay, we need to honor this journey as parents by putting that in there as well. And always happy to share your Glow Mia boss. And
Can't
yes,
wait
the
to hear
new
about the new
podcast.
podcast.
Oh my
It's going to be
gosh.
to empower parentpreneurs. That's all I can say about it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get the announcement. It'll be phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
So,
couple weeks.
James, honest to goodness. Oh, thank you, Mia. You know how we like to roll here in the Startup Life Live show, everybody. So tuning in,
I just love
there's
that
the
podcast
link.
name. It's so hilarious.
James is a huge fan of that for
It's so
sure.
hilarious.
And
Well,
you know,
because I
Mia,
cuss a lot, so I appreciate that you put that in here.
well then you will know, you will love it. At the end of every show, Mia asks everybody, what is your favorite, her guest, what is your favorite cuss word? And don't hold back.
Oh my God. So funny.
Mia, I wondered if you ever had somebody who said, gosh darn gee whiz, you know? But anyway, folks, remember, whenever you tune in live to the Startup Life Live show, you have an opportunity to share your brand. So pop into the show, the comments, and share with us your business name, your one-liner, so we know what you're doing, and the URL. We can bring it up onto the screen. This show is evergreen on 5 platforms. We're live on LinkedIn and Twitter and Twitch and Facebook and YouTube, and lots of views happen after. So it's a great way to amplify. And do not hesitate to pop questions into the comment thread so that we can answer them. And of course, it adds a wonderful spontaneity to the broadcast. And then today, what the heck? I'm really in the mood for sharing the love. So let me just tell you, today I am giving away a free copy of James' book called The More You Hustle, the Luckier You Get. And to enter and win a free copy of The More You Hustle, put in Startup Life, hashtag Startup Life in the comments, and you'll be entered to win. I'll pop this up several times during our conversation.
Well,
At the
don't
end of
forget
the
the tagline there. You can be a successful parentpreneur.
That's right. You can be
key right there.
Thank you for hopping in. It's important
Yes.
that we promote
Yes.
our swag, our everything, our books. You can be a successful parentpreneur. So remember, hashtag Startup Life. So James, you know, this isn't your first rodeo. Talk about how you became an entrepreneur. What called you to launch your first business? I think it was We Montage. Maybe you've done something else. And let us know, did you have role models growing up, or were you moving product and hustling in elementary school? Or did you just see a problem that needed solving and fell into entrepreneurship?
Yeah. I go back to college, and back in college, we had a production company. And then after graduate school, after business school, I was trying at the time to launch a digital lifestyle magazine for Black golf enthusiasts. And this was in a pre-iPad era. And, this Tiger Woods came on the scene and just inspired me and all my friends. And we started playing golf like crazy. And there were no magazines at the time that were really targeting us. And I remember I was looking at the business model for publishing at the time. And it's just like, this is ridiculous. It's so expensive to print and ship magazines. Like, why are we doing this? And all the big magazines were starting to use this digital delivery platform, which was called Zinio at the time. And I just rewrote the plan. I was like, we're just going to do it digitally. And I remember we had everything lined up, ready to go. But the people with the writing the checks, they all thought I was crazy. Not so crazy now, huh? Look at all those magazines going out of business because they can't afford to print and ship.
That's right.
Nobody wants
That's right.
to, So that was the first foray, really just kind of risking it all to do that. But yeah, just being what I am. And one of the chapters of my book, I asked the question. I say, like, be what you are. What are you? Like, it's just too stressful to be. We're not supposed what we think other people want us to be. Like, I went to Morehouse, and I was an accounting major, and I think I was finished like number 2 in the class, something like that. I was number 1 junior year, but I hated it, so I graduated number 2, and I just
Come
I wanted to do.
on. Number
Oh, well,
two.
well,
That's
yeah, but I hated
amazing.
accounting. Well, yeah, but just, I really knew at the time that I should have done that, but it doesn't matter. I'm not stuck in the past. I'm doing exactly what I should be doing now. But the point is that, Mark Twain says the two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you figure out why. And I think the earlier you figure that why out, the more fun this life thing will be for you.
It really will be. And focusing on what makes your heart sing. Doesn't have to be your passion, but it's something you feel really good and willing to wake up and jump in. And if it's a problem you're solving, do that. If it's working for a company that's solving a problem, if it's part of a community that
Mhm.
fills your heart, don't let other people cage you with their idea of how you should move forward. And how did you
Yeah.
know to do that, James? How did you know that to be so self-actualized?
I learned the hard way. Yeah, that's my best answer. It's just,
Yeah, life happens.
yeah, that's it. And you talked about my kids being born. I was living in Northeast Wisconsin. We were 1,000 miles from friends and family, and cleaned out my savings to build a prototype for the We Montage
Mhm.
website. And that was only supposed to take 3 months, but it took 12 months. And I learned. So I have a good friend of mine who actually I think he built the first iPhone app for Pandora. And he told me if you're building software, you can either build it really fast, really inexpensively, or really well, but you only get to pick two. And I'm like, oh, now you tell me, because I had champagne taste on a PBR tall boy budget, and that was a problem. So in the process of doing all this, my now ex-wife, she wanted to have kids, so we did IVF. We put in two, we got two, yay! But like, holy crap, because I'm like running out of money.
Oh, yeah.
This thing is taking forever. Living in a place where entrepreneurship wasn't exactly a bastion, getting no traction with investors at the time. Living in a place where there was like almost no diversity. People looking at me like, what? Who are you? Like, what now? Say what? But so I was driving to Madison to try to get a generator, 2-hour drive each way. I got in. This was phenomenal because I'm like, all right, this thing starts in January. The kids are supposed to be born end of March. The program's over April 3rd for demo day. I'm like, all right, this is
Mwah.
amazing, right?
Perfect timing.
Pristine, right? Except it wasn't, because 2 days before I was supposed to go to the accelerator, we had to do an emergency C-section to remove my son, remove both the kids. Obviously, open that thing up, you got to take both the kids out, right? But so otherwise, he would have died because his blood was starting to flow backwards.
Oh,
So we had to take him
no.
out. Oh yeah, they weighed 2 pounds apiece. 1
So
pound 14
scary.
ounces. 1 pound 14
Folks,
ounces my son. 2 pounds 3
oh,
ounces my daughter. So I'm back and forth to the NICU, back and forth to the accelerator, waking up at 2 a.m. every morning from the stress of it all. Couldn't sleep, crying every day. The pressure to try to build an MVP, minimum viable product, in time for demo days, so we could raise what I was trying to raise at the time, was $250,000. And so we got to demo day, and right before I was going to go on stage, I got a call from one of the angel group investors, and he said, hey, we're going to fill your whole round. I'm just like, what do you mean? I'm like, because I don't take anything for granted. You got to say it for me. I'm like, what are you talking about, my man? We're going to give you $250,000. And I dropped
did
to
you
my
start
knees.
crying?
I cried. I thank God.
Oh,
And my daughter came home after 6 weeks from the NICU. My son after 10 weeks. The kids are doing great now, and so that was
oh.
my real meaningful foray into entrepreneurship. And once I started the business, I started a blog because I knew I was going to use the blog as content, as for inspiration for that book you see right there.
Yeah.
And so in 2017, I self-published the book. By the way, we raised just enough money to fail, but that's a whole nother. We can get into that if you want. But
Come on.
so I wrote the
Failure is
book.
really the sweet smell of success because you learn
Oh,
so
Jesus.
much from it.
Yeah, for real. But in 2017, I launched the book, and I said, when I launched the book, I said, one of these days I'm going to sell We Montage, which is funny at the time because it was collapsing under its own weight at the time. I said, I'll take $1 million of my own money and I'll start a foundation to empower parentpreneurs around the world, because this is really freaking hard
Wait a
being a
minute, you took $1
parent and an
million
entrepreneur.
of your own money?
I said I was going to, but I got
Oh,
to sell the business first to do that,
yes.
right? Which the thing
Right.
was a zombie. So that was in 2017. And then in 2020, at the beginning of the pandemic, I'm looking around. I'm like, I understand that within every crisis exists opportunity. So I'm just like, all right, guy, like, where is the opportunity? I'm looking around. So I had a chance coffee meeting with an acquaintance, and I'm telling them this story about wanting to start a foundation. And they're just like, well, what are you waiting for? Like, do it now. And I'm like, wow, like, I feel like that's God talking through them to me. I'm like, yeah, do it now. What am I waiting for? Let's do it. Right. So of course, I have no idea how I'm going to do this, but I'm like, I'm a Taurus. I'm bull, like charging headfirst down the path. I'm starting a foundation. I have no freaking clue about how to do
And we'll
that.
get
What
into
to
that
do.
too. But I
I'm
just
like,
want to, can I just back up for a second?
yeah, sure.
When you said every crisis,
Within every crisis exists opportunity. Like I think it's the Mandarin symbol for crisis is the same symbol for opportunity.
listen, everybody, you know what's coming up right now. Hold on to your hats. That's a stitch that on a pillow moment. Within every crisis, there's an opportunity. That is so important. I think it's Napoleon Hill who said, within every adversity, there's a golden seed of opportunity.
Same thing.
It's beautiful.
That's right.
Yeah.
So because I was looking for opportunity when everybody else was running around screaming the sky was falling at the beginning of COVID, I wasn't. I was like, there's opportunity here. Like, where is it?
Yeah.
And then, so I was talking with the co-founders of Techstars, which for those who don't know what that is arguably the most significant global tech startup accelerator. And I had a relationship with Brad and David because I met them on a Google Hangout when I was going through Generator back in 2013.
Hey, me, a Google Hangout. We met everybody during Google Hangouts.
Yeah. I mean, I stayed in touch via their blog. I didn't want anything from those guys, but I just read their books. I followed their blog. I would comment and I stayed in touch, and so I sent those guys an email. I say, hey, I'm thinking about starting a foundation for parentpreneurs. What do you think? And they were just like, it's hard fundraising, and they weren't wrong. But the thing about me is I'm like, I've had to scrap and scrape for every single blade of grass on the field of life. And, it's hard being Black sometimes. And I'm like, telling me something is hard is not a reason to not do it.
That's right. You've already built those muscles up.
Exactly.
Tenacity
so I'm
and
like,
resilience.
all right, let me go figure this thing out. Right. So, and then the whole world falls apart. Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, all these things are happening. And then I'm looking at, I had my own personal Karen experience in my backyard. This woman 2 times, and I had to call the police on her the second time and file a trespass warrant. And it was bad. And then I'm looking at the wealth inequality gap data. And I was like, screw it. Like, I'm just going to make this foundation for Black parentpreneurs because we really need to help the most. So then I randomly got an email from Brad Feld one day, just out the blue. Right.
He's so generous.
Brad's amazing. And the subject was like game for 30-minute Zoom. There was nothing in the body of the email. Right.
Hold on. I'm having goosebumps all over my body. Game for Zoom.
And if you don't know who Brad Feld is, he's co-founder of Techstars. He
has a wonderful new community.
Foundry Group. He's a limited partner. Limited partners or LPs are the people who write the checks to the VCs.
Yes.
Who write the checks to the entrepreneurs. So he's like top of the food chain, like that. So everybody's trying to get 30 minutes with Brad. And I get this email from him. I'm like, yeah, I'm game to do 30 minutes, but what's up? Right? Like, what you want to talk about? We can talk about whatever you want. What are you going to talk about? Right? So he's like, I just want to know what 2 things you're working on that I can put addressing racial injustice and inequality. I can put my time, money, and attention to. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Because at this point, he had no idea I changed the focus for the foundation. Right.
Right. But, and also, James, this speaks highly of who you be. Oprah talks about how we need to be, not just do. And your vibe went out and clearly important. Let me just say a quick hi to Sabina. So happy you're here. Just want to make sure we're giving away James's book today. And I'll just bring up the marketing piece, put #StartupLife in the comment thread, and we're going to give away his book at the end of the show, announce the winner. Yay. Thanks so much for tuning in. And I just want to say hi. No idea who you are, Shahid, but so happy you are tuned in.
Yes,
be
welcome,
sure to
Shahid.
say
thank you for joining us.
Yeah, and be sure to let us know who you are in the world and what you're up to. We'd love to celebrate folks and their journeys, and be sure to put #StartupLife into the comment section to win a free book. So you hop on a Zoom call, with the man, Brad Feld.
Yeah. And he's like, what 2 things are you working on? And addressing racial injustice and inequality. I can put my time, money, or attention toward. And I was like, well, you remember that foundation thing I was telling you about for parentpreneurs before? He's like, yeah, what about it? I said, well, no, it's just for Black people. He said, oh, I'm so glad you did that. All right. And he goes, well, what would a 12-month operating plan look like? And this is the part where I almost like fell out my chair. He said, why don't you just throw it up in a Google Doc and I'll co-create it with you? I'm like, say what now? Say what?
Seriously, folks. Seriously. I mean, talk about a gift from heaven. Oh,
listen, but it goes back to what we talked about, right?
Yes.
Looking for the opportunity.
That's right.
And what I find is when you are open to inspiration and your energy is good, right? Because if you're cluttered, it's going to be hard to pick it up when you get it.
Right.
But when you're open to inspiration and you're looking for it and you ask these questions, like you get answers. Just do. You do. So
if you listen,
you got to be paying attention though. So like this afternoon, when we're done here, I'm gonna eat some lunch. I'm gonna go ride my bike because I need to, get inspired. I got so many things going on. But he said, I'm so glad you did that. What would a 12-month operating plan look like? Throw it up in a Google Doc. I'll co-create it with you. Man, I had that thing back to him like the next day or two. I'm not messing around. He's like, this is great. This is a great start. What would a 6-month plan look like? It's like, all right, here you go. I got it right back to him. And he goes, all right, assume 3 things. One of which is a $50,000 seed grant from my foundation to launch your foundation. And that's how we started.
Oh my gosh. Everybody, I got to tell you, I'm having it. I'm having this Andelicious moment because of the fact that James didn't say, oh, for me to succeed, I need to have a conversation with Brad Feld. James said, this is what I'm going to do. I need help, and stayed open to how that looked. And then when he responded, and Brad had all that happen, he had something back to Brad. And the beauty of what added to my Andelicious moment, James, was how Brad took it from like 12-month operating to 6-month. And folks, take it even down to 3 months. Just always know how much and keep working with that live document. So you always know how much you're going to need. And may I just say, I can't think of a better outcome for a better person ever, James. Seriously, this is lovely. And we're going to talk about this too, folks. Wonderful that Brad Feld said, let me help you, to put money into the foundation. But even then, you've got so much more work to do, and it becomes very, very exciting. And, and this is just wonderful. So parentpreneur, let me ask you this question, because folks, it's really launching a business and understanding what entity to form for your business is really, really important. Now, Parentpreneur Foundation is a .org. Did you in fact launch a .org?
Oh yeah, no, we're
a nonprofit, right?
Also, I got a story for you about that.
Because please,
you're talking about Allison's social capital cues, and Allison and I talk a lot. I talk a ton about social capital for Black entrepreneurs because everybody knows about the dearth of financial capital, but the lack of social capital is as problematic, and in some ways, it's more problematic because lack of social capital keeps you from imagining what's possible. And if you can't imagine what's possible, how can you leave a legacy if you have beautiful Black children? It was Albert Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. So I'm always talking about this, right? We don't have these relationships, the social clout, the networks, and we don't know what's really going on. We can't get things done. So when I was going to start the foundation, Brad was like, hey, have you ever heard of the 1K project? I was like, no, what is that? It's a group of VCs out of New York came together, and they were pooling their money to give $1,000 a month for 3 months to people who lost their jobs due to COVID. He said, let me send an email to Alex, who runs that. He's a VC in New York, and see if he'll talk to you.
Alex Fiscal.
Yeah, that's it. You already know. Let me see if Alex will talk to you and give you some insights about their business model that you can implement, because you got to have maximum impact as soon as you turn this thing on. So he sent an email to Alex. Hey, Alex, can you talk to James? Alex was like, sure. Here's my account, hop on for 20 minutes. Now, I know if Brad hadn't done that, he never would respond to me, because he doesn't talk to me now, even though he helped me a ton. He barely talks to me. So, but that was Brad spending his social capital to make that happen. So I jumped on a call with Alex, and he was extremely gracious with his time, his knowledge. I'm super thankful for him. And at the end of the call, I told him how frustrated I was because I needed to be a 501c3 in order to get the $50,000 from Brad. And I'm looking at this, and the IRS is like, it's going to take 3 to 6 months for you to approve this. And I'm furious now.
Yes.
So I tell this to Alex, and he said, oh, no. You don't need to do that. What you need to do is, and I'm like, I'm leaning in now. What do I need to do?
Because I want to know too.
Please tell me what I need to do. He said, what you need to do is you need to get a fiscal sponsor, like Open Collective out of Madrid. I know Pia. I'll send an email to Pia and see if she's game to talk to you and get you set up on her platform so you can immediately begin to take tax deductible donations. I'm like, what the hell? My head is my mind is blown. Okay. I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know it was possible. He sent the email to Pia on Thursday. I was on the call with Pia on Tuesday on Zoom. On Wednesday, I was set up on her platform. On Thursday, I had the $50,000 from Brad. That is social capital, my friends.
Okay. It's who you know. Honest to goodness, because I thought about this for the Startup Life Live show. Somebody encouraged me to do the nonprofit, and I took a look at how long it would take, and all the documents, and then having a board. I just said, "Oh hell no!"
Pain in the butt. I was going to curse out of respect, you know. It's a pain in the butt, right, Mia? You know what I'm talking about, Mia.
Oh, that's not what she'd be using for words, but okay, that's vanilla.
No, we're going to go with butt though.
Oh no, but that's beautiful. So 5 days later, you're able to bring money into the foundation and get going. Who knew that? I did not know that. Of course, I usually stay away from nonprofit entities, but for myself, not for my time and money though. So that's fascinating. And that's important, founders, for you to know. So if you're thinking about launching a nonprofit, and James will tell you, you have to file, and the IRS can take 3, 4, 5, 6 months.
It took us a year to get ours, right? So,
right. And that was your tax ID number, right?
You get your tax ID number. That's a totally different thing though. But get a fiscal sponsor. Open Collective is amazing. P.M. Mancini is the founder CEO. I think they went through Y Combinator. He is great.
I'm writing that down, James. Open Collective, and I'll have that in the show notes. Everybody, all that information.
P is great. She's just great.
And I've just never heard about that. And let me just again remind folks, if they're tuning in and they want to get a free copy of your book at the end of the show, I'm giving away a free copy of The More You Hustle, the Luckier You Get. You can be a successful entrepreneur. Just put #StartupLife in the comments, and we'll do the StreamYard.
Successful parentpreneur.
Parentpreneur. Thank you.
Yes.
There we go. And let me tell you, I raised businesses and babies for years. You know, I always tell people when we launched our .com, I was nursing one and chasing after the other. And we raised over 8 million in capital for that. So it was crazy times. And if, you know, and especially during COVID, when you don't have and if you don't have the financial ability to bring in help, oh my God. It's just
listen. I was virtual schooling my twins. After I started the foundation, remember that's all happened in 2020, right? Yeah. In March, my kids came home. You know, I'm working on the foundation. They're home for the summer.
How old are they now, James?
They just turned 9. They weren't in summer camp. They were home all summer. I'm working on the foundation. Like school started in the fall. I was virtual schooling them almost the entire year.
Do you follow Glennon Doyle at all? Anyway, she's more for women, but she wrote, and she was a 3rd grade teacher for years before she wrote books and went on the speaking circuit. But she shared that if that had been her, she would have turned on the TV, turned on captions, turned off audio, and said, "There we go, we're reading, we're done." I mean, very, very hard.
It's extremely hard. I mean, it's extremely hard. But, you know, since we launched the foundation, 18 months, we've given away $70,000 in grants, just $1,000 to 70 Black ParentPreneurs. We paid for 320 mental therapy sessions, which is the thing that I'm the most thankful for that we do in the foundation, because in the Black community, mental health is stigmatized.
Yes, it is.
It is. And so we're shattering stereotypes, paying for therapy for members of our community. We've given, so we're about to do another round of grants. Actually, this month we're going to do another $25,000. We're partnered with the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center, as you just put up there. They co-sponsored our last round of grants. We paid for virtual tutors, virtual assistants. We paid for people to increase their social capital by improving their LinkedIn presence on
Let me just
that
take people
platform.
through a little bit about what you've done. Okay. I'm going to do a quick doc share, everybody, because I want to be able to read this off. This is really, really amazing. And let me just go and grab this here and I will open it up so we can view it via slideshow. Everybody seeing that? Okay. So let me just come over here. So we'll start from the beginning, but empowering Black parentpreneurs so they can leave a legacy for their children. Wealth inequality makes the ParentPreneur Foundation necessary for Black parentpreneurs. So talk about this lineup. These are the people who are behind you, James.
Yeah, we went through the Techstars Foundation because Brad was the lead sponsor for that. He donated $100,000 to get us into that. I'm deep in my relationship with David Cohen. I got on the Techstars Give First podcast with David. David's a friend now, supporter, sponsor.
Yeah.
Confidant.
This is the social capital paying off, right? And then these are the grants you were talking about. So just read those. Read the bullet slide for me, please.
Yeah, $70K in cash grants to 70 members so far. Pay for mental therapy it's actually equivalent to 80 people now, 4 sessions for 80 people. We've paid for 320 sessions.
Yep.
Actually just paid for 5 more people for 20 more sessions last week. So we just did that.
My gosh.
So that number is actually higher. Pay for VAs, which is a big, people raising kids, taking care of elderly parents, trying to get their business going. Ability to have a VA just is a huge, huge relief, just a huge capacity builder.
Yes.
So that's one of the most things that we do that people like the most. We just started doing it as we raise more money, but we need money to donate so we can keep doing these things.
And everybody, you can hop on to parentpreneurfoundation.org and make a donation anytime you want. You can make it monthly.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and then
LinkedIn profile consultations.
Yeah,
I think that's tremendous.
Absolutely. People got to know how to show up.
Absolutely. That's social capital. And what's this all about?
That's some of the past grantees.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. And then I thought this was great.
Yeah. So we just got approved for $130,000 grant from the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center as part of, they haven't announced this yet. They're announcing at the end of this month, I believe. But it's a big project. There's a bunch of players here in the US and the UK trying to solve the problem of, underestimated founders not getting access to early capital from VCs, angels, et cetera.
Yeah.
We just got our second check for that, which is, another $32,500. And we're going to use $25,000 of that to do another round of grants. I'll be announcing that shortly.
And then I'm going to take a moment to bring up the website so you can see, right? Wow, it's fantastic work. Well, you go ahead and read Mia's comment, James.
It says, dang, look at all that fantastic work being done. Yes, grants, mental wellness, supporting Black parents. Boom.
Right?
Boom indeed.
Exactly.
A lot of people talking about doing the work, but we're actually doing it. And at the heart of what we do is we have this community of 1,700, there's actually almost 1,800 members now that we host on Mighty Networks, which is amazing because it's not Facebook, which is so good. So we own our own community. Like, we're not relying on Zuckerberg and them to show our stuff. We don't have to pay them to share our stuff, because I'm not here for any of that nonsense.
Exactly.
Just not here for it. But yeah, so we have a Mighty Networks community. It's thriving. There's a lot of collaboration going on.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. It's just a safe space. Somebody was like, this is my little happy corner on my phone, the app, and they just love coming in and getting inspired, and just awesome.
So I just opened up the community, so I'm going to have to stop sharing here. But, the thing is this is what's so important. And I really, really appreciate that you took it off platforms like, we'll have a LinkedIn group, or we'll have this. Tell me a little bit about Mighty Networks. I know about Discord and other places like that, but
Mighty Networks is amazing. So I don't know if you know Gina Bianchini. Gina's the CEO. Do you know Gina?
No, I don't think I do.
Gina's phenomenal. Yeah, Gina runs that. They just raised $50 million like a couple of months ago.
It's like, don't you know, James? I love this.
I had Gina on my LinkedIn live show. Gina's phenomenal. I'm a huge advocate for Mighty Networks. I'm actually spinning up a new community on Mighty Networks for a new project I'm working on. But Mighty Networks is great. It's just
what does it allow you to do?
It just allows you to have it created. It's like a Facebook, but better. You know what I mean?
Oh
It's
my
just a
gosh.
community, it's just a community of people. And, you could have free, so our community is free, but we have a freemium platform. It's premium. So anybody can join. It's free. But then we have this premium membership space that we give this insane amount of benefits to, like when we open up mental health and all that stuff, the people in the premium group get to apply first. It's $19.97 a month. We have this relationship with Built First. So you get like all these discounts on all these SaaS products you are always use. I mean, we got like $1,000 Notion credit, $1,000 Miro credit. You get Airtable credits, Stripe credits. We're an AWS partner. So you get $2,000 AWS credits with us.
You need to get Clearco in there too.
I've been talking to those guys. Yeah, no, I had oh geez, what's her name? At the VP of marketing, I had her, Ilana Ostrega. I had her on my LinkedIn live show. So I know Clearco very well.
Oh, good. Yeah. So, there's different ways because, getting the money too and finding creative ways. And I love that you're focusing on non-dilutive capital, getting those grants, getting those wonderful discounts or freebies and donations for your Black parentpreneurs to thrive and survive, because there's so many parts and pieces. And also it's along the journey. So along the journey, also you go, what? I need that. And that's what the community can talk about, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, so I think I mentioned in the green room, we have a great relationship with Seth Godin. And so this is our third time that he's given us scholarships for his Akimbo marketing seminar. And, last time Seth came to visit with us, he talked about, in the last class.
So he came and visited your ParentPreneur Foundation?
He does all the time.
Listen to, he comes all the time. Oh
I got a Seth Godin story that'll make your head, you'll be like, wait, what? So just, if I can tell
You've got all the good stories. Tell me the
I can tell a story really quickly, man. So I think I told you, so Remontage was failing, right? It's just collapsing under its own weight. The product is brilliant, by the way. I got on the Today Show 3 times. Good Morning America. Martha Stewart's blog called it a DIY network. Called it a decor item all homeowners should know. Been a DIY network, all this stuff, right? On my own without a publicist. I did all that. So I get an email out the blue. Hey, your website's broken, with like a little screenshot, a circle, and an arrow pointing at something, because we didn't have the money to pay for the file uploader. It was collapsing. And it was from Seth Godin. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, God, this cannot be the Seth Godin. This thing was working fine for years, right? This cannot be the Seth Godin. So I spent like an hour, I'm searching the internet. I'm like, is this his email address? Lo and behold, I'm like, holy shit. Oh, excuse me, I cut. Sorry. I'm like, holy crap. Okay. I think this is really Seth Godin. So I emailed him back. I'm like, is this the Seth Godin? He goes, yep, it's me. I'm like, seriously, God? You have got the worst, wickedest sense of humor ever. You're going to send Seth Godin over here and my stuff's like falling apart.
Right.
So he was.
So he's all about customer service, most importantly.
So he emails me back. He was like, this is really cool. I told him what was going on. He said, I'm sorry to hear that, but I can't wait to see what you do next. That's his email. So that was 2017, right? So in 2020, after I had money,
doing next.
I had money from Brad Feld. I sent him an email. I responded to the email and sent me, hey, Seth, you remember you said you want to see what I was doing next? Here it is. And this is the part. Yo, he emails me back. He said, oh, I know Brad very well. He's a great human. Want to hop on a Zoom real quick to see how I can help? Like, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah. He said,
no, I'm busy right now.
Huh?
Of course you're going to say yeah.
Well, yeah.
But James, come on.
He said, you got time now? I'm like, yeah. Absolutely, I do.
So good. You could have been giving the kids baths, and you're like, pull them out.
I'm like, just don't fall down on the floor.
Just stay alive.
Just don't die while I go talk to Seth Godin real quick.
Mia, I agree. Cool shit, James said. We have a great relationship with Seth Godin.
Seth's a great human, man. He's just such a good dude. I just love Seth. I email him. He gets back to me. He's so gracious. He's so supportive of the work we're doing at the ParentPreneur Foundation. Just so thankful.
And this is great because, folks, even with the miracles and wonderful, wonderful serendipity of the fortuitous connections that James received with Brad Feld, Seth Godin, etc., he still has to deliver. And one of the hardest things that no pressure, you just got these luminaries watching every move you make, but you have been prepared. Your lived experience, as Arlen Hamilton always talks about, has prepared you for this. Your two babies coming premature have prepared you for this. But one of the hardest things to do, folks, is build community. If you've been out there and you understand, it is like herding cats. I have a dear friend, Anna Pereira. She's the founder of the Wellness Universe. You think it's hard to herd parents. Imagine healers, tarot readers, people who, yoga instructors, mental health, they herding those onto her platform. Very, very difficult. And yesterday, Lolita Taub, everybody, on her Twitter Spaces, so that would have been Monday the 7th. She shared outstanding insights and advice for why working hard on building a community is going to add so much value for you as a differentiator, that moat that you need to keep.
Community is like the new moat. Community is the new product. It's the new differentiator. It's all that.
Community is the new moat.
And you got to build community before you need it too in some instances. But that's another conversation. But yes.
Okay. I'm just going to say, take that away too. You need to build community before you need it. Okay. So you have to start, whether you've got a product, a service, or it's a foundation. How do you, James Oliver Jr., build community? What have you seen that works for you to get people interested? How have you built? I mean, you have tremendous social capital, so hooray, but still you need to connect with everyday Black parentpreneurs.
Yeah.
How are you doing it?
So I think if you ask Gina Bianchini or anybody in her team at Mighty Networks, they would say you have to start out with a real compelling why, a compelling value proposition. What's the big overarching reason people should be in your community? Right? What's your why? Like what, or as Seth Godin likes to say, because I'm in his current Akimbo marketing class for my new project, he talks about like, what change are you trying to make in the people that you're bringing together? Like what is that? And for us, we want to empower them so they can leave a legacy for their beautiful Black children. But Seth also talked about, last time I went through it, which actually stumped me. He talked about tension and how tension is how you get people to take action. And I never understood that. I was stuck on that lesson in his seminar. But when he came and talked to us the last time, he started talking about tension again, and it really cleared things up for me. He talked about how if he were on an airplane and they were going sky jumping or skydiving, and he's like, I want to jump out this plane with a perfectly good plane. Like, what if the parachute doesn't open? That's tension, right? The solution to that is, well, we got a backup for you. Oh, okay, let's go. So what's the tension for the ParentPreneur Foundation? He was like, well, you're on this rocky road, a rocky journey to leave a legacy for your beautiful Black children. What if you fail? He said, well, we won't, because we have each other's backs. All right, let's go. Right? So that's the thing. So I show up every single day. We have a very compelling why that resonates with people.
Yep.
And every single thing I do, when I look at my business model, I have 4 key activities. And if somebody brings something to me that does not resonate with any one of these 4 activities, which are, and I apologize if I can't remember them all, but we need to raise money, obviously. We need to PR and awareness, grow the community, and we need to get access to resources and things we can give to our people. If somebody's like, hey, you need to do this, I'm like, if it ain't one of those 4 things, I'm like, nah, don't waste my time. Because those are the 4 things that I've determined that I need to deliver on a daily basis. And the beauty of those things is they all feed off each other. So I get some of those plates spinning, they help the other ones spin. All right.
I got you. That's a master class in boundary setting, folks, because entrepreneurs, there's shiny objects everywhere that will distract you.
No, it's a complete sentence.
Absolutely. But also you have gotten very comfortable being online. So many entrepreneurs and parentpreneurs, they're trying to navigate all the different opportunities out there. What do you focus on socially to connect with people?
The main thing is the main thing. Right. And look, I mean, I'm a little older now, and the older I get, I just have 0 F's to give. Sorry. I know Mia loves that, but I just don't care.
Your F bucket is empty.
It's empty. It's a quart low. I just don't care. I just, and it's weird because I'm a dad of young twins, and I'm a single dad, and I'm divorced, and I'm simultaneously growing more and less patient, which is hilarious. It's just so funny. And I'm very comfortable. And look, and as a Black man, I'll say, it's just anybody, but I know for me, like, this is for anybody, like people are going to complain about you no matter how you show up.
Right.
Right. So the one thing I love about my journey and this experience, and if I had a do-over in life, it would be from this perspective. And I learned this from Brad and David, and it's the Techstars mantra of give first. Give first. So like there's a no asshole rule. Don't be an asshole. Give first. You ain't got to be nice, but you need to be kind and respectful. And that's it, man. And
what's in it for them? Tune in.
Yeah, I don't care what people think. I don't care.
It's so important, folks. Seriously, because you're wasting capital there in your brain. You don't want, people's thoughts renting room in your brain. And what you do, what I just love, is on TikTok, because and TikTok is very entertaining. And a lot of folks don't want to do a video on TikTok because they feel they have to be entertaining. What I love about you, and I find compelling, and it works for me, excuse me, as well, is that you look right at the camera. It's usually about 60 seconds tops, more like 45 seconds. And you say, founders, Black ParentPreneurs, here's the scope. And you lay down some advice.
I'm actually not on TikTok anymore because I've been more focused on our IG ParentPreneur Foundation IG page and dropping those reels over there.
Reels
the engagement are great on there for me. The engagement on TikTok for me just was not working. And I just, let me just focus on IG. And really, I'm not even focused on that. I'm focused on my foundation community. And so this is the other thing that Seth said I thought was huge. And we talked about this in the green room. Seth said, stop trying to get attention. Right. And to me, TikTok, IG, those things are all about trying to get attention. Yep. Stop trying to get attention. Focus on getting your customers to tell 10 of their friends about your business. Boom, that's gold right there. I'm like, holy crap. Yes, yes, yes. So I don't really care if anybody sees my videos on IG, on TikTok. I don't care. What I care about is that in my foundation community, here's one, Jeanette, she's in here. She just was watching now.
Go ahead. You can read that one.
I care. She said, just logged in and I'll do a replay. Hi, James. Exactly. She's in my community. And what I care about is that the people in my community, if they have a problem, they DM me or they call me or text me because they have my cell phone number, most of them. And if I can help spend some of my social capital to give them capacity, that's what I care about. I don't care about what anybody on IG says or sees or don't see or TikTok. I don't care. I don't care.
I want you all to take that in, folks. Okay. So important, especially you service providers. You're going to get pinged by all these people to do this, do that, spend money here, spend money there. Look, I had my head down just delivering and focused on amplifying founder voices, specifically diverse founder voices. And out of the blue, I get notified the other day, folks, that I'm number 10 for must watch or listen to podcasts in 2022.
You're just doing your brilliant thing, right?
Just showing up with the Andeliciousness.
That's it, baby.
And you see, people will find you based on your vibe. And James, you have a delicious vibe. It's how we do. And of course, it's about serving folks.
Yeah, exactly.
And every day, anytime a founder is not about that, I know they're going to have a real struggle in making something work. Oh my gosh. So, and you've got something new coming up to another community, the Kabila. You want to talk about that a little?
Yeah.
Kabila.
So this is still super, super early, but so I sit in these spaces with my foundation with these LPs or limited partners, the people that write the checks to the VCs. And a lot of them, these VCs, and a lot of them are trying to figure out how to get more capital to underestimated and underserved entrepreneurs. Yeah. And Wayne Gretzky, he was so great. We asked him, why are you so great? He said, because I was skate to where the puck was going to be, not where it's been. So I'm looking at this, I'm reading the tea leaves, and I'm like, in the next 5 to 7 years, I think if you have a tech startup co-founding team comprised of people from various backgrounds, that's going to be a capital raising superpower.
Absolutely.
So Kabila is, we're building a co-founder matching tool and an online community, as I mentioned, on Mighty Networks. And the point of the community is to create, so the app is going to be like Bumble for finding a co-founder, right? It's very transactional. Yep. Swipe left, swipe right, yes, no, whatever. But the community, I think, is the more sustainable piece, because I'm thinking differently. This is all an experiment. It may work. It may fail. We may shut it down. Who knows? We'll see, right? We'll just experiment it.
Can we
But in
just
the
take a moment?
community,
You hear that attitude that James has right there? It's an experiment, folks. It's all good.
yeah,
He's going to pull
I
in
don't
threads,
care.
see what works and what
I'll
doesn't.
walk
Go
away from it
ahead.
tomorrow. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not attached to it. I'm just not.
Yeah.
So sorry, my phone is ringing. I'm sorry.
That's
So I had it on vibrate, but it's noisy.
okay.
But I think that if we could create these spaces where people can organically connect with others and build relationships around shared interests, I think that's a more sustainable approach. And then we're like, how can we help them be better founders and better humans? So there's like this social impact component to it that I think is going to really help it pop. So that's what I'm up to.
Absolutely. And it'll be interesting. You're going to learn a lot pulling on those threads. And Jeanette, mother of 5, founder of the Bow Club, one of my favorite founders. I just want to make sure if you're still tuning in, be sure to put hashtag startup life in the comments because I'm going to do a roll. And again, I got 1 person show up, 2 person, whatever, 2 people. It's all good. I'm giving it away. And maybe I'll do it again in the future as well, James, to make sure people have a chance to grab
I
this.
think Jeanette might have got one of our last round of grants. Is that right? Can you drop a comment, Jeanette? I
think Jeanette may have gotten one of your grants.
Got a grant from us.
Yeah, so. I think she talked about it. We had her on the Startup Life Live show in the fall.
Fantastic.
Oh, James, she told one of my favorite stories. I tell everybody this one about how when things were falling apart and she was crying and her twin sister came over and cried with her. And she's like, this isn't helping. And she had to she's like, I got mouths to feed here. And it's just so important that, you find the people who are going to hold you accountable in a loving, meaningful way.
Find the helpers, right?
That's right. And bringing that. So James, you've been through so many incredible opportunities and possibilities in your life. And especially as a founder, when you are feeling inadequate, when you are feeling like, this is like, why am I doing this? Or hashtag why bother, right? How do you shift your mindset? What is it that brings you back that another founder could learn from?
That's such a great question. I know I mentioned we're launching a podcast. We just did our pilot episode. And at the very end, we asked our guests a similar question. It was a remarkable answer. So I'll try to be equally remarkable in my response. This is a man, his name is Amos Johnson. He's a pastor of the Church for Entrepreneurs. He's part of my foundation community. He has his own community on Mighty Networks and his own group and stuff. And one of the things he talks about is you can't fight negative thoughts with thoughts. And when he said that, I was like, oh, wow, that's so great. Because what I've learned in my experience is if I go down the rabbit hole, because I was functionally depressed for a long time. I didn't come out of it till probably like 2-3 years ago, probably 3 years ago. Right. What I learned is does that same ladder you use to go down that depression rabbit hole, it's something about that stupid ladder. When it goes down there, man, it just like gets a little shorter. So the same ladder you use to get down, you can't use it to get out. So when he said that to me, that you can't fight negative thoughts with thoughts, it made sense. You have to fight negative thoughts with words. So for me, like the reason I've been successful with this foundation and all these other things I'm doing right now is because I'm in alignment now with my purpose, what I think I came to the planet to do. We talked about that with that Mark Twain quote. And I check in, I ask for inspiration, I talk to God, I pray. So if those negative tapes start spinning and playing because they do, right? I will just out loud, just verbalize, everything's amazing. Why? Because God got it. Or, I declare I'm a multimillionaire. I will say these things over and over. Sometimes it only takes me a couple times to say, but sometimes I'll literally spend like hours repeating that to myself out loud. Yep. And you know what? Everything's all right. The gremlins in my head, the demons, they go away, right? Because so much of this thing is the mindset of it all. It really is.
Offering everything out, being clear about what you're trying to create, of course, and bring in, but then just offering it up is so helpful. Always remembering all is well, and being grateful for all that you are and all that you have, for what is working. These are wonderful mindset hacks, folks. It's not like you're expecting someone to go out and weed the garden because you just said, I have no weeds in my garden. No, you're taking action. You're moving forward every day. Yeah. You're just not, you're an observer and you have offered to the higher being, so to speak. At least that's my thought
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
creating
Works for me.
mint.
You
It's
got to do what works for you,
wonderful.
but I'll tell you, that's been working. It's amazing.
And how
I don't,
can the Startup Live community put some wind into your sails?
oh boy, the wonderful question. I appreciate that. So, if empowering Black parentpreneurs so they can leave a legacy for their beautiful Black children, if that matters to you, please visit parentpreneurfoundation.org and please make a donation, like as little as $25. You can do $25 a month. We have some people that donate $10 a month to the foundation, and that lets us pay for the therapy and keep our platforms up and running and do all the things that we do. We're about to do another round of grants I just mentioned before the end of the month.
Right.
We're not celebrating Black History Month in the Parentpreneur Foundation community because I'm just like, I'll leave
every
that
day. Forget every month.
Every day, right? Every day is Black
Every
History
day.
Day, Black History Month. And we just leave the performative behavior for the performers about all the Black history stuff. Y'all go ahead and do that, performer people. And every single day we show up, we breathe life, we build capacity, we collab, we connect, we build social capital every day in the Parentpreneur Foundation community.
And
so
folks,
I need to celebrate it.
We can be allies here. Okay. So you can just follow James and Parentpreneur Foundation everywhere they glow. We've got both of their at ParentPreneur F or at ParentPreneur Foundation for IG, and share, click that share button, put it up on your IG stories, put it up
Please.
on your,
Thank you.
on your profile. This is how we add wind. We don't have to say, oh, look at us doing that. No, that's stupid. Especially Black History Month. I will only promote what folks who have something to say, who are from the BIPOC community. That's how we are allies. Keep yourself out of it for my beautiful white-skinned folks, and promote our fellow entrepreneurs who are
Spend your
in
social
the BIPOC
capital,
community.
right? If you guys have social capital, I don't have, right? We don't have. Like, spend some of it, please. Like,
yes,
spend a little, please.
And so, and
Marie, yes, amplifying the larger community. Yes, Marie. Thank you, Marie. Marie gave us a shout out on Twitter the other day. Thank you, Marie.
Oh, waving hi, Mama Marie. And also she's the executive director, although I think you have a new title now, Marie, for the Capital Network. It's been around Boston for over 20 years and has helped founders around the world nail down their numbers, as we say here in Boston, nail down the numbers and know how to raise capital and understand what you're doing, and have a phenomenal female founder fellowship too, folks. So please go check out the Capital Network for sure.
Marie.
And Jeanette, if you're still tuning in, be sure to put hashtag Startup Life, because I'm about to do a little winner here. And if you put hashtag Startup Life in the comments, I'm going to do the fun StreamYard giveaway here and see who's going to win a free copy, everybody. One last question, James. How has entrepreneurship served you both professionally and personally?
It's just a blessing to be able to wake up every day and do what you want and love, and to have the flexibility to do what you want to do. I'm just so thankful for that. So yeah, just grateful, thankful to be helping other people and giving first.
Yeah.
Thankful.
Yep. That is so beautiful. We're getting ready to pull the button here, folks. And so I don't know if anybody had a chance to do a last minute hashtag Startup Life. If not, I think we know who the winner is going to be today. And, look, folks, you show up live, right? I show up live. James, you show up live. You do your LinkedIn lives. You hope people can come in and add value that way. But there's always the replay, and you can't be always looking at the vanity metrics, right? The numbers. But I am going to go ahead and draw. We only have one entry, so we know who that's going to be. And I don't think it's going to let me do the draw today. Darn it all. Well, Mia, we know that you were the one who, oh, there it is. Now it's ready to draw. Good. We've got two. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for that second entry. It won't let me do it. It's just one. Whee!
That's so funny.
Isn't that funny?
You got to show me how to do that in StreamYard.
I will. And that's the best part right there.
Yes. So good.
All right. Okay, Mia, you're going to grab that copy, and I know that you will read it. Thank you so much for tuning in on that. Any last thoughts?
Oh, she will love that book. It's got lots of cusses in it. She will love that book.
You will love that book. For sure.
I mean, he's gonna love that book.
She's gonna effing love it.
He's
She's gonna love it effing fierce.
Yes, exactly.
Any last thoughts before I pop you in the green room and wrap up the show?
No, just, go back to what we said. The two most important days of your life, the day you're born, the day you figure out why. Just figure out why.
There we go. Just figure out why. Thank you so much for joining me for a delicious conversation today, James. You're amazing. I love following you everywhere you glow, and I'm so grateful for you. I'm going to go ahead and pop you into the green room. I'm going to come up to full center here. Didn't you love this conversation? There's so many nuggets for all of us. James was hitting on so many important points. I'll put them into the YouTube chapters in the show notes. All the links will be in there, so be sure to hop over there. In the meantime, guess who's joining us on Fab Female Founder Friday? If you don't know her, she is amazing. It's Dr. Nancy Dome. And she's a renowned speaker, author, and equity consultant, and the co-founder of Epic Education, where since 2014, she's been providing leaders in education and business with accessible professional development and diversity, inclusion, and belonging and equity. But most importantly, she has a new book, and it's called Let's Talk About Race and Other Hard Things. And she provides a framework to recognize feelings, interrupt flawed patterns, and repair relationships. Again, that's Friday, February 11th at 12 p.m. You're going to need to learn how. Conflict is normal, everybody, survivable, and you don't need special skills or experience to navigate it. You just need to practice those tough conversations. It's not about offending people. It's about connecting, and we can do it. We're going to learn a lot from Nancy. And how do you know whenever I post a new show? That's right. You join the Startup Life Meetup group. Hop on over there, join the group, and that way you'll receive an alert whenever I post a new show and have an amazing guest on like I had today with James. So before I fly out here, I want to remember, James had a lot of great quotes today. This is also one of my favorite from A.A. Milne, Winnie the Pooh. You're braver than you believe. You're stronger than you seem. And yes, we say here in Boston, you're wicked smarter than you think. So keep focused, reach out, join communities, and have a wonderful, delicious day everywhere you glow, blowing you kisses filled with appreciation. I'll see you next time. Cheers, everyone.